Chapter 7.4 Quadrilaterals. A quadrilateral is a polygon with four sides. There are many different types of quadrilaterals. The first type is a trapezoid. A trapezoid is a quadrilateral with exactly one pair of parallel sides. Then we have a parallelogram, quadrilateral with opposite sides that are parallel and congruent. And then we have a kite, quadrilateral with two pairs of congruent adjacent sides and opposite sides that are not congruent. And with our parallelograms, we have rectangles and rhombuses. A rectangle is a parallelogram with four right angles, and a rhombus is a parallelogram with four congruent sides. Then we have the square. A square is a parallelogram with four congruent sides and four right angles. A square can also be called a rectangle, and a square can also be called a rhombus. So it says classify the quadrilateral. As you can see, we have four right angles and all four sides are the same, so we know that it is a square. The next one, we have two congruent lines at the top of this figure, and then we have another pair of congruent lines that are different from the first pair at the bottom. And as you can tell, that is a kite. The next example has four congruent lines, but we do not have right angles, so that would be a rhombus. So it says the sum of the angle measures of a quadrilateral equals 360 degrees. So all the sides added up equal 360. So it says find the value of x. So what we need to do is add up all of our sides. So I'm going to add up 115, 70 plus 75. 5 plus 5 is 10, carry my 1. 7 plus 7 is 14, plus 2 is 16, carry my 1. So I get 260 degrees. That's what my sides add up to. That I do know. Now I got to figure out what x is, so now I'm going to subtract 360 minus 260, and that gives me 100 degrees. So x equals 100 degrees. My next example, again, we know we got to find x. So we have a parallelogram. We have two sides that are 100, and we have an 80, and we have an x. So again, we're going to add up our sides. 100 plus 100 plus 80, and we get 280. So now we're going to subtract 360 minus 280, and we get 80 degrees. So we know that x equals 80 degrees. So now it says draw a parallelogram with a 60-degree angle and a 120-degree angle. So first step says to draw a line. So we are going to do that step first. So the first thing we're going to do is draw a line. So I have my protractor out, and I'm going to draw a straight line. I'm just going to use half the protractor. Then it says draw a 60-degree angle. So I am going to draw a 60-degree angle. And I am now going to turn my protractor to where I can draw my line. So there is my 60-degree angle. And it says in the 120-degree angle that each have one side on the line. So that means what I need to do is take my protractor and move it over a little bit to the far right side, and I got to draw 120 degrees. So I'm actually going to move everything over. I ran out of room. So now I'm going to draw 120 degrees from here. So make sure when you do this you have plenty of room. So now, here's my line. Draw my straight line from there. And so now I have two parallel lines going diagonally. Now I need to make sure that I have a parallel line going on the top and bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my protractor and move it straight up. I can move it wherever I want. So I'm going to draw a straight line going across right here. So now I have a 60-degree angle here and a 120-degree angle here. If I move my protractor totally out of the way, I can erase a little bit. And I now have a parallelogram of 60 degrees and 120 degrees.